What's going on, guys? Angelo here. Welcome to the Let's Talk About That podcast. Today, I have with me another guest. Once again, this guy, his name is Matt, but he does a bunch of updates for a bunch of amusement parks, just like me. And please welcome Mr. Media. How have you been, man?
I've been good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How's the pandemic been treating you so far, then, man?
It's been interesting. I graduated high school this year, so it was
Oh,
kind of
nice.
weird
Congrats. Yeah, I
to
was gonna
like
say that
thank
had to have
you.
been weird.
Yeah, like I graduated through my car. Like we had like a drive-through graduation and stuff. So yeah, that was kind of weird.
Did y'all
Um,
have like the virtual like walk thing or no?
well, like that day we drove through our cars to the
Mm-hmm.
school, and then we had like a little thing at night that was like
Oh,
streamed on
wow.
TV where like we had like videos of us throwing our caps in the air. Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Wow. That's
But
crazy.
yeah. So like yeah, it was I always thought like my high school graduation was just gonna be like this big event, but then
Right.
nope. I don't get a prom either. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it was like I remember someone had posted like, "Oh yeah, who am I gonna take to prom?" And then like whatever happened, it was like right in March. It was like bam, everything happened.
Yeah.
So,
March 14th is my last day of school. And then
oh
everyone's like,
my
oh, we're gonna go
gosh,
back in 2 weeks, and then we just didn't.
wow. All right, so tell me, how did you get into coasters, man? Like, when did you first start liking them? Have you always
Sure.
liked them, or what?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I went to Michigan's Adventure when I was 4, and I was like, yeah,
Okay.
it's all right. And
Mm-hmm.
then I like when 2013 rolled around, my friend was like, hey, we should go to Cedar Point sometime. I'm like, what is Cedar
Nice.
Point? Because I had no idea what it was.
Right.
And so this was the year that Gatekeeper came out. And so I'm
Oh,
like, I'm
okay.
gonna research the park and see what this chick is. And
Mm-hmm.
so I look it up, and I just once I saw like the image of like the Gatekeeper animation, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this thing looks incredible. And I just like geeked over that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I researched everything at Cedar Point, and I fell in love with Millennium and Maverick and
Oh,
Dragster. I'm
okay.
like, I'm never riding Dragster, but I've ridden it like 30 times now. But I was like, I'm never doing that. And then so I kept researching that, and I'm like, wow, roller coasters are pretty cool. I wonder
Mm-hmm.
what other roller coasters are out there. And so what I did is I just kept researching park after park, like Kings
This is
Island,
so.
Six Flags, Great America, Six Flags Great
Mm-hmm.
Adventure, like all the good ones. So I kept researching and watching POVs, and I was just like,
Yep.
man, this is really cool. And so I begged my parents to take us to Cedar Point that year. I was like maybe 11 at the time, and they were like, Cedar Point, we've never been, but okay. And so
Mm-hmm.
we went, and I was really terrified at first. Like I was scared of the Magnum, and then
What? Wow.
yeah, I cried my first time I
Are
rode a
you
Magnum, and then
serious?
yeah,
What?
but then I rode it. I'm like, man, this is so cool. And then I
Mm-hmm.
just kept building up and up and up, and then here I am today, like
Oh
232
man.
credits later. Yeah,
I'm only at like 60 something, like 69 or something. Yeah, 69, 69.
nice.
I got Candemonium for the 69th one.
Oh
And
man,
it was
yeah,
sweet. It was sweet. So
yeah.
yeah. The
Fitting because it's a candy coaster. It's yeah,
pun intended, guys.
yeah,
I mean, so overall, when did you start doing like updates and whatnot? Like, how did that all
sure.
start?
Yeah. So for some reason, I thought starting like I was just like I want to share my love with the world, and so I
Hmm.
thought having an account on iFunny, like the meme
Oh
app,
yeah,
was gonna be good with that. And so I started
yeah.
that in like 2015, and
Oh
I got like
wow.
100 followers on that. And
Hmm.
I was just mainly posting things like photos I took, and then like special things like, oh my gosh, Val Raven's coming, because I for some reason was obsessed with Val Raven. Don't ask me
Really?
why.
Wow. Val
Yeah,
Raven? Wow.
yeah, like I like when it was announced, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the greatest thing of all time. And it's really not, but like I
Right.
was like, this is gonna be so cool. And so then I moved over to Instagram because iFunny
Hmm.
is for memes and not roller
Right.
coasters. And so I think my first post was in like February 2016, and I
Oh
posted like
wow.
a webcam photo of Val Raven. And then I was like, this is kind of fun because I
Hmm.
like I wish I had a source. Like Screamscape is great, but like I
Hmm.
really am on Instagram a lot, and so I'm like, I wish there was like an account that like has like a bunch of stuff, like all the new stuff, because I want to
Yeah.
stay up to date with everything. And so I was like, wait, I can just do that myself. And so I posted a lot of Val Raven, and then I posted a little bit of my own photos, and then that kept
Nice.
building steam. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And
Yeah.
so I kept doing that and that and that. And then somehow it led me to like being invited to IAPA and like being on TV shows and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I guess I
That's
just
what's up.
started because I loved Val Raven for some unexplainable reason. Here I am today, like 4.2 thousand followers
Oh my gosh,
later.
that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen, yeah, you're pretty fast. I don't know how you get them so fast. Like, I have good sources, but your sources are really on point. So,
Yeah, yeah. I look at Reddit a lot, Because
Yeah,
like a lot of
Reddit,
my
yeah,
like what I do in the morning is I wake up, I like go on Facebook. I'm like, okay, is there anything here? Because a
right.
lot of some of the information I get is on Facebook because all the like I'm in a bunch of like amusement
Like the
park groups,
group
and they
thingies, yeah,
yeah, and they have a lot of information because
yeah.
there are a lot of guests, and so I'm like, oh, that's new. And then
Mm-hmm.
also on Reddit, like r/roller coasters, there's a lot of people like in foreign countries that have like pictures of that. I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's a lot of people like especially with the Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure, like there's a
Yeah.
ton of
Yep.
people taking photos of that, and
Mm-hmm.
there's always new ones. So if like I'm just like, okay, I got to find these and I got to post these, and then I guess yeah, I got some
That's
pretty
crazy.
great sources. Yeah, and then sometimes people just send me random things like
Yeah, that
I had
happens to me.
someone send me like a picture of the King's Dominion free fly track, and I'm like, oh, this is sweet, because like, holy cow! And then I was like, okay, I got to post this like right now.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I just like I went when I heard the news, what was it? In fact, we'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit, guys. So I heard the news, well, it happened July 15th because like Katie Fanatics had
yeah,
said something. And then after that, I just drove up there the next morning because I live 15 minutes from there and bam, I got the footage. So it
yeah,
was cool though. You can definitely tell a lot of people a lot of people keep saying that that it's like RMC track. Well, the thing is, guys, it is RMC. Like the
yeah,
manufacturer who made it was RMC,
yeah.
but that's why it looks so similar. But the
Mm.
actual manufacturer is SNS, guys. So yeah.
Yeah. So
So
SNS makes like the trains and
mhm,
all the wiring and like the
right,
controls and stuff, but they subcontract RMC to make the
hmm
track because I mean they're
right,
great at it. Like I
right,
talked to Alan Schulke and Fred Grubb at IAPA a few years ago, and
hmm
they were like, "Yeah, like we have a ton of projects. Like they were at the time they were doing Untamed at Wallaby Holland,
hmm
Hakuge at Nagashima Spa
oh
Land,
yeah,
and then they were doing Zadra Energylandia. But on top of that, they had I
hmm
think some sort of skyline attractions like whatever those are called, the Sky Warps. They were doing
yeah.
that
That's
because
what
they
it
make the
was at
tracks for that
SeaWorld.
too.
Yeah,
And then
hmm
they had like all these free flies, and they're like, "Man, we are
hmm
packed." And like,
right.
yeah, it was crazy because they were like, "Oh my gosh, there's so much coming." And because like free flies are popping up like
Yeah, because Six
everywhere. Yeah,
Flags. Well, Six Flags was the one who kind of really started because they just put one basically in almost every park now,
yeah. There,
and
there was one year where they literally added three
yeah,
Jokers. Yeah,
just they were just like, all right, every park's giving one of these. I mean, I think they're okay. They're not the best, but it's a smooth ride, obviously because it's RMC,
yeah,
and you can definitely get a fun experience. It just depends.
yeah. I've ridden the one at Great America
Hmm
and Great Adventure, and both times I've had really pleasant experiences because I usually like ride by myself because my friend who I usually
Yep,
go with doesn't
same.
like it. So I get a lot of spins, and so I'm
Hmm
just flying around like, oh my gosh. And I'm really into like just disoriented spinning rides. Like they are not for everyone. Like most of my
Yeah, I
friends are
agree.
like,
I
I
can't
cannot
do
do
the
spinning.
state fair rides
Oh,
anymore, but I can do
yeah,
like I can
yeah,
do those types. Like I love
yeah.
Crip. When Crip was there, they used to make the cycle like 8 flips, and I love that
Oh
feeling.
my
But
god.
like they lowered it down to like I think like 6 or something because it was just too
Yeah.
much, and
And
then it was gone. But
yeah.
like I do
And
like those rides. So
isn't the free fly replacing Crypt?
yeah, exactly. So
So they're basically getting
what people were apparently saying is that it's smaller. It's like a smaller scale 40 free spin, and I guess you can kind of tell too because from the track that was there. I don't know if that's all of it, but if it is,
yeah.
that's a small coaster. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it's the same layout, but
hmm
then again, it's still a coaster. Like,
right.
yeah,
At the
it's
end
not
of
the
the day,
most.
I'm just glad
Yeah.
we're getting something instead of anything
Yeah.
because I mean, I'm glad that they got like they're putting a coaster, I guess, in place of a flat ride, so you can't be that
Yeah.
mad, and it does fit more people than Crypt, if I'm correct. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, like a 40 free fly is basically the roller coaster version of the Crypt
Right,
because like
exactly.
it flips so much and like it actually
Mhm.
like has a track. So I think it's a great move, but it's kind of like a good move on their part because there's not really a free fly
Yeah,
anywhere in the
that's the
area.
first one in the Cedar Fair
Yeah.
chain. Well, it
Literally
will be, yeah.
the closest one I think is at Six Flags Great Adventure, which is 5 hours north of
Yeah,
it. And
that's
so
true.
no one's gonna go 5 hours just to ride a free
Mhm.
fly.
The
And
only
so
thing I mean, the only other thing that I could think of would be RMC again, but it would have been the Raptor, but for that
yeah.
park, it honestly needs the large scale, even though not a lot of people really go to it, I still think
Mhm.
it needs the large scale one just because, so yeah.
Yeah, it's good that you guys are getting a coaster because over the past couple years you've lost two and then
Man.
got one, and like
Well,
I kind of feel
we got one that was converted, so
yeah,
it's
and
just
then
like
you
we're
lost
still the
Shockwave,
same amount,
and then
yeah.
you lost Volcano, so you've
Mhm.
lost three. Apparently, yeah, I guess it's three and gain one, and one of them being like the third best in the park. Like no,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the top three. What happened? It was funny too because as soon as Twisted Timbers came, I remember like me and Airtime Mike, we were like, okay, we're gonna go over to Volcano, and we just marathoned it. And little did
Yeah.
we know that we weren't gonna be riding it again for a long time
Yeah.
because it was about maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, it was
Mm.
down. Then it was like, oh, down for a couple months,
Oh
and
man. Yeah.
everyone knows what happens. It's gone now.
Yeah.
And
I
Crypt is
went.
gone. So yeah.
Yeah. I went in August 2018 for the first time.
Oh wow.
Right when Twisted Timbers came out,
That's
and
right,
so I
because
was
I
like,
met. Yeah, that's right. I remember
yeah,
meeting you. Yep, I did
yeah,
the
and
vlog.
so, yeah, for sure. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to ride
Yeah.
Volcano. And then I get there and I'm like, well, it's been closed for months. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, they'll just get it back open because like I felt like there was a big gap in the lineup because it was like Intimidator 305, Twisted Timbers, and then it
Mhm.
should have been Volcano, but after that it was Dominator, and I'm not the biggest fan of
Yeah.
Dominator. So like I'm
Exactly.
like, oh, it'll open up soon. They'll get that third good
Mhm.
coaster in, and then it just didn't, and
Yep.
everyone was just like,
And now
um,
our top three is it's not a bad top three, but it's just like this is not the top three I want. I
yeah,
wanted the volcano arm. I want the intimate RMC and intimate.
yeah,
So
yeah. There's a very big drop off between like
yeah.
number 2 and 3.
Mhm. And
Yeah, and the
Dominator is
same.
a solid floorless coaster. So for everyone out here who hasn't ridden it, it's a really good floorless. It doesn't feel. It is the longest one, but it doesn't feel too long. So yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not bad. It's not my favorite florist, but it's still a
Yeah.
solid ride. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I'd still put Kraken above it. Kraken
Oh
at
yeah,
SeaWorld,
yeah,
like
yeah. I haven't
that
ridden
thing's
that one
crazy.
yet.
Yeah, but Dominator's good.
I really like
Also,
the Bizarro. So yeah.
at Six Flags Great
That
Adventure.
one was
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, I rode that thing like 4
Mhm.
times. Yeah, that one's great.
Mhm.
For some reason, I hate Rougarou at Cedar Point. Can't
That's a
stand it.
lot of people's. I hear
Yeah,
different things on that because it
like
was like, oh no, that was what it was Mantis. What was the ride that was Mantis
yeah, it
before?
was Mantis,
Okay, that's
the
okay.
stand-up coaster,
Yep.
and then they converted it to Rougarou. And
Mhm.
honestly, I wish that they kept Mantis. I don't know why, because well, you have to learn how to ride Rougarou because there are some moments of
Mhm.
Rougarou where if you aren't paying attention, you're going to get clobbered in the ears. Like you are going to be in pain. Like
Yep.
so, there's like a little like a twist right before the break run, the mid-course break run, and then that corkscrew is unbearable. And
Mhm.
so they should have just torn that thing down and put like I don't know, a B&M flyer in there.
I'd say I remember the when they converted Firebird. It's the best B&M in Maryland because that's the only one,
It's the only
guys.
one,
It's
but
the only one.
I've heard it's not very good
Oh
either.
my
Yeah.
gosh. I got the worst seat possible and I did the front to the right. And it was
Oh.
the last right seat. And oh my gosh, I was like, I'm not riding it anymore. I just was like, I'm not even
Yeah.
giving it another chance today. Like I can't afford this pain.
This
So
headache. Yeah. So every time I go to Cedar Point, I'm just like, nope, no
mhm.
Rougarou today. And like, thankfully, it's closed for the time
Right,
being
yeah.
because they have a lot of rides closed because of coronavirus. But I'm like,
Mhm.
no, 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 not doing that.
So what's
Um,
it like up there now? Like what's going on up there? Like did you
sure.
go yet this year?
I went to the Orion First Rider benefit at Kings
Okay,
Island.
nice. What'd
I
you think
went
of
to
Orion?
Oh my gosh, Orion gets too much hate. It's
I hear
literally
so many mixed things. Someone says the front's the best, and someone says the back
yeah.
is the best. What do you think?
I think the front and the back are two
Okay.
totally different rides. Like
Mhm.
you cannot compare them because the front focuses a lot on positive G forces and
Oh, okay.
speed, but the back has just some killer airtime.
Mhm.
Like if you're in the back, like it's an 85-degree drop and it's
Yeah.
300 feet, so you're gonna get popped out of it, but you're just gonna float there. Like it's flowjector. It's crazy because
Yeah.
you just get yanked, but then you just kind of float there and then you crash
Mhm.
down, and it has some really good positives. But I think that the back is stronger on the drop, the speed
Okay.
hill, and like the last twisted airtime hill. But the front
Mhm.
row is better on like the wave turn and the like Orion's belt, like the big helix.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they're totally different experiences, but they're both fantastic in their own way. And Orion, as like a whole ride, even taking that into account, I think it's one of the best rides ever created. I mean, I'm pulling up my top 10 or my top coasters right now, and I have Orion at number 14. It's right below Steel Curtain
Oh,
and right
wow.
above Mako.
That's
Um,
good. That's really
yeah,
good.
everyone thinks it's too short, but I actually
I
think
was
it's a
about to
really
say,
good
yep.
length.
I was just
Like,
about to ask you, like, what did you think? Like,
yeah,
because the layout really is short. When you watch the video, you're like, that's
yeah,
it?
I kind of had this preset mindset that I'm like, okay, it's gonna be short. Just
Mhm.
remember that. Just go into it like that, and then you'll be fine. And
Right.
I've ridden all the Giga coasters in North America, and I've ridden Leviathan. I'm like, okay,
Oh,
that one
okay.
was short, but I'm like, okay, Orion has some really solid elements. Like The drop was great. The wave turn is a really weird sensation. We'll get to later in the speed hill. I'm like, the speed hill was great. I'm like, okay, it's probably going to be awesome. I'm going to go into it knowing that it's going to be short, and I'll see what happens. And so the drop is like basically any other B&M Giga drop, but it's a lot forceful in the back because it's 85 compared to like the 81 on Fury.
Yeah.
And I think Leviathan's like 80. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Please someone fact check me. But like it's the steepest B&M Giga drop, and you just get launched out of that. Like I like Fury's better because it's a little bit longer, but the back is just really strong. And then when you go into the wave turn, it's not what you'd expect because it's like if you've ridden like Lightning Rod or Twisted Cyclone at Six Flags Over Georgia, like you get like a really big pop of air, like sideways air, but there's not really like a pop. It's more like you just kind of float there. It's a really cool sensation because you're sideways like 200 feet up and you're going like 90 miles an hour and you're just like floating there. Like, oh, it honestly feels like you're in space, which is kind of fitting to the ride.
Right, the right.
Yeah. And so it's just like, it's really cool. And then when you pop into the turnaround, it's like, it's a good turnaround. You get a lot of positive G-forces coming out. But then you enter the speed hill, which is like 50.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
You're going like 80 miles an hour hitting this thing, and you just get this mad pop of ejector. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, first time I rode it, I was shook because I'm like, I was not expecting that. I knew it was going to be good, but I'm like, oh my gosh, that was crazy.
Wow.
And then you go up into this floater hill, which is kind of killed by a trim, but I mean, it's a good floater. And then you go into this upward helix that has some really great forces. I thought it was going to be kind of sluggish, but like it maintains its speed throughout. And then you go into this twisted airtime hill, which is a big surprise. I knew it was going to be good, but it wasn't like, I didn't know it was going to be that good. Like you got some ejector on that thing, and then you pop into the brakes. But for what it's worth, Orion has some fantastic elements, and they flow together so nicely. And one thing that Orion does that's incredible is its pacing, because when you enter the brake run, it's a huge brake run, but it's there for a reason, because you're hitting the brake run with so much speed that you need that much to slow it down, because you're probably going like 50 or 60 miles an hour.
I was about to say, because it's like a basically whole block break in a sense, because I don't know if you guys watch Ryan's video from El Toro Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
Made a whole video about the Giga Coaster's brakes and why Orion's is so daggone
It's literally
tall.
like a mid-course and then like the actual one. Yeah, but when you enter that brake run, like you're hitting it with so much speed, and I feel like if they had like an extra helix, I feel like it wouldn't be as impactful, because like it might be a little bit more sluggish. You might enter it like, for example, when you're riding Fury 325.
I was just about to say,
fantastic ride, but the helix right under the first turnaround is quite sluggish, and it's just like, okay, I'm ready to go into the airtime hills. I mean, the airtime hills are great, but the brake run on Fury is so much shorter because it doesn't have that much speed going into it. But with rides like Millennium and Orion, you have a ton of speed going into those things, and it really pays off, because like you're just like, oh my gosh, that ride was incredibly fast. And I mean, Orion didn't need to be long, because like no matter what Kings Island does, if they say it's a Giga Coaster, people will come. Right, exactly. Because they can market it as one, and that's like the most important thing. And like I know that like all the enthusiasts wanted like a Fury successor, and like bigger than Fury.
I don't think we get that for a long time, at least not right now. I mean, especially with everything that's happening, I just couldn't see like anyone really doing that height right now. So
exactly. And what people don't realize is that Fury 325 cost $30 million. And since there's an increase in like steel tariffs and what's the word? Inflation of like prices and stuff, Orion costs $30 million.
I was just about to say the pricing. That's why most people were just like really upset that they spent that much money. Do you think that they should have like? Do you think that they should have got Orion, or do you think they should have did like something even bigger than that?
I actually think I'm actually very satisfied with Orion. I feel like if they did something bigger, like a $35 million ride, one that would have been way too much money, and I don't know if they would have recouped on their investment.
That's true.
Like,
because they didn't know this was happening.
Because like no one knew this was happening, and they wanted to get their ride open like as soon as possible, because like they're not going to reach 1 million riders this year, of course. And so like having that like cheap coaster leaves a lot of room for profit margins. And like if it was 2015, I would have said like maybe had it a little longer, because it would have been the same price as Fury, but that's just not the case. You have to look at amusement parks as a business aspect. Like yes, they care about the enthusiasts, but they're out here to make money.
About who is coming in this park and who's going to spend his money, not for the coaster, but who just wants
Yeah,
to have fun type of thing. That's why there's so many other things besides
exactly.
coasters. And
Yeah,
they have Cedar Point for a reason, and all the like Six Flags
exactly.
Mountain. They like to do the coaster stuff, but at the end of the day, it's about the dollar bill. So,
Exactly. The entire thing runs around money.
hmm
And like the general public, who is the target audience for
hmm
this ride, and who's going to be like, "Oh my gosh, it's one of like the 10 tallest rides in the world. I
right,
want to go ride that." They aren't going to care about
right.
like 25 more
They
feet
don't
in the
even
air.
know about the length or
Yeah.
anything that happened prior.
They're not going to care about like 5 miles an hour faster.
hmm
They're not even going to care about an extra like 1,500 feet of length.
When they
They're
see
not going to care
300
about that.
feet, they're just like, "Yo, what are they
That's
doing?"
tall. Yeah,
Yep.
like Orion, I think is like the ninth tallest coaster in the
Yeah.
world. It's in the top 10.
hmm
So people are going to see that and they're going to be like, "Man, that's cool. I got to ride that."
hmm
Like no one's going to care like if it's like this like in
Yep.
that ranking, as long as it's in the top 10, they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I have to
hmm
ride that thing." So that's why it's a brilliant business move, because they're saving money per se, because if
Exactly.
they're going to get a ride like Fury, they'd be like dropping like 40 45 mil,
Yeah.
which is
I was just about to say,
ridiculous.
if they really did try to do it, it's just like at that point, I would have been like, do the RMC Son of Beast because I want to see a
Yeah,
full loop. And it
exactly.
probably wouldn't have cost, honestly, it probably would have been 30 mil or
Yeah.
something similar. But
Yeah.
either way,
RMCs
I'm
are not
glad.
that expensive.
hmm
Yeah.
I'm glad
Um,
they did, like, y'all finally got the B&M Giga. Um,
that's been like a rumor since Millennium Force
Kings
opened
Island
in the year
fanboys were
2000.
just waiting. They were like, "Oh, Kings Dominion got one. We have to get one." And Carowinds got one, and now
Yeah.
y'all have one. So yeah,
But Kings Island fanboys per se have to realize that they got Banshee and then
right.
Mystic Timbers and then
hmm
Orion all within like a period
Right.
of like 7 years,
Half the
where
Cedar Fair parks, like
where
Kings Dominion, we waited 8 years.
yeah, Worlds of Fun got their last roller coaster, I think, in 2009.
Oh my
Valley Fair
gosh.
hasn't gotten one in who knows how long. And
Right, they're not getting one.
Michigan's Adventure, last time they got a ground up coaster that was unique to them was 1999.
Oh my
The
gosh.
last time
And
they got a
Dorney Park is
coaster,
just now about to get one
yeah,
in 2021.
yeah.
So
And the last time Michigan's Adventure got a roller coaster was 2008, which was a relocation from Geauga Lake, and it's an SLC. And so like there are parks out here that are like we really need a coaster, and then these people are complaining like, "Oh, Orion's not big." Like,
hmm
dude, you got the Giga. Like,
right.
oh my gosh, it's
Now
still
y'all
like a
have they
top
have a
20
nice
ride.
top three now. Like they
Yeah,
have GCI,
exactly.
a solid GCI. You also have a great B&M invert, and now you have the B&M Gigas. So I don't want
Yeah,
to hear
and a B&M
anything.
Hyper
Right.
and the Beast, which is
And
the world's
right.
longest wooden coaster.
Still the longest. And
Like
it's probably
Kings
not gonna
Island,
get beat for a long time.
no,
So
that thing's not gonna lose its like
mhm.
ranking in a while. And like Kings Island has one of the best lineups of all
Yeah.
time. And I will say Orion, I feel like was needed because
hmm
there was so much debate about which ride at Kings Island was the best. Because in my personal
Yeah.
opinion, before Orion came, I personally had like the Beast, Mystic Timbers, and then Diamondback.
Oh
But
wow.
like some people are like Diamondback, Mystic Timbers, Banshee. Like there's
hmm
so many rides that like can go into like people's top three. But now that
Yeah.
Orion's here, I'm like, this is the best ride in the park. Like
hmm
this just so strong and the speed is wonderful. And like, I mean, people just need to stop complaining because like
Yeah.
it's still a fantastic ride.
Right.
Like
At the
it's
end of the
literally
day,
in my
it's a
top 20.
coaster. Like y'all got
Yeah.
a nice coaster. And the
Yeah.
color looks amazing. And it has theming for Cedar Fair
Yeah.
to actually do theming. Like I'm glad to
Oh,
see they're doing that
dude,
now.
there's literally a pre-show. I was so
Yeah, I heard
surprised.
about that.
Like I was walking through the queue and there was all these wonderful Easter eggs. Like they did a
hmm
fantastic job with this. It's like I think it's the most themed ride at the park. And if you've known like
Yeah.
Copperhead Strike theming, it's
I was
like
about to say it's probably
one
like right there with Copperhead. Like,
yeah, it's a little bit more, I'd say. And
oh
so
wow.
like there's a lot of these Easter eggs, and then you walk into this building and they like recorded this video. They paid money for special effects. They
Oh
hired these
wow.
actors. Like they had like a pre-show video, and they have all these like Easter eggs and these diagrams in the queue that just make the experience so much
That's
better.
crazy.
You can tell that they put a lot of time and money into development, and that just makes
hmm
the ride more well-rounded. Because if you ever ride like Millennium Force, yeah, it's great, but it's literally
Yeah.
themed to itself. Like
hmm
Millennium is when it opened, and Force because it's a
Right.
big ride. And but Orion, like you actually have a story, like you're trying to save
Yeah.
humanity from this incoming asteroid
Media.
strike. Yeah, and it's just like, wow, like I actually have motivation. Like theming goes a long way on the
hmm
ride. Like for example, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Like if that didn't have the theming it does,
Oh
It would
yeah,
be a
it
pretty
wouldn't
boring
be.
ride.
Yeah, I was just about to say like
Yeah,
all the twists and turns and everything. The ride's like 50 miles per hour. It's not
yeah.
that fast, but the
People say it's
amount
one
of
of the greatest rides of all
theming,
time.
what theming does, it just creates that immersive experience. Like it makes you
Yeah,
feel like you're going faster. When you even
yeah,
stop, they have like the fire effects and whatnot. Like that's
exactly.
awesome.
Hagrid's probably the coaster itself, like the actual track, probably costs
Hmm.
like maybe 20 mil.
Right.
But the
That
entire
theming. Oh
ride,
my gosh,
the entire ride cost $300 million. So they
man.
dropped like so much money to make it an immersive experience for the guests because that's what like
Hmm.
really makes the ride.
And then
Expedition
you have
Everest
the
to Animal Kingdom,
Jurassic.
the
What?
Velocicoaster,
Yeah,
yeah,
Velocicoaster. Yeah,
like
that's what everyone
that's
calls
probably
it.
like around the 20 mil for the coaster itself,
Oh
but they're
yeah.
gonna theme the heck out of
Hmm.
it. And Expedition Everest at
Yeah,
Animal Kingdom
100. It's
probably
like a
cost
100 mil, right?
like 15, 18 mil for the coaster itself, but the actual thing cost $100 million because it just makes it that much better. And I rewrite that ride every single time I go to Animal Kingdom because it's so fun. Like
Hmm.
go through the mountain and stuff.
Yeah, they
So
do an awesome job. I mean, what would
yeah.
you say? What do you want to see come next to Kings Island? I guess like, what do you want to see them get?
Ooh, okay. Now that's a good question because they just removed Vortex and
Right.
there's this humongous plot of land.
Hmm.
So well, there's different things of what I want to come and what I think will come. What I think will come is that they're gonna keep milking the dive coasters. Canada's Wonderland. Yukon Striker did a number for that
Right.
park, and GP loved the dive coasters. When I went to Cedar Point this
Yeah.
past week, the longest wait in the park was 2 hours for Valraven,
I was
which
just
opened
about
in
to say Val
2016.
Raven. Everyone always says Val Raven has a super long line.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't matter what it is, it's just super
yeah.
long. So.
Even Steel Vengeance, the world's greatest roller coaster in my
Hmm.
personal opinion, had an hour and a half, where Valraven
Wow.
was 2 hours. So they tracked GP like crazy.
Yeah.
So if Kings Island wants to have this big, massive coaster that wants to attract a lot of people, then I would say they're probably going to put a dive coaster in that space.
That's
But
true.
what I would want as an enthusiast would be like an RMC Raptor,
Hmm.
or heck, maybe an even like a Mac multi-launch, maybe even like a
Oh
B&M
yeah.
flying coaster. But like,
I think, yeah, I do think they're probably going to use Mac again just because of how well Copperhead did at
yeah,
Carowinds. A lot of people wanted to see like Kings of Maine get one. I don't know. It is 5 hours away, but it would definitely have to be probably a faster version of like Copperhead or something because,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, everyone thought that Copperhead was going to be bigger than it was. Like, if
Hmm.
you remember, like the initial like fan things,
Yeah.
like that thing was huge. But I mean, the smaller aspect of the ride kind of makes it cool because like it's like Maverick for in
Yeah.
it like some ways because it's like snippy and
Hmm.
like really there's a lot of forces. So sometimes smaller is better. And so like for example, Orion, it's a smaller Giga coaster, but it's
Yep.
really good.
Hmm.
But if Kings Island was going to make like if they're going to put that coaster in that plot of land,
Hmm.
because they probably will because it's massive.
Right.
I'd
Yeah.
say they're probably going to put a dive coaster, but I would absolutely love to see like an RMC Raptor or a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster, even because
Oh
those
yeah.
have been done lots of times,
I haven't
and I
even
feel like
ridden. I don't think I've ever even ridden a Ghost Flower yet.
yeah,
And
they're
I know
fun.
there's
They're
one
fun
in
rides.
Dollywood. I definitely want to check them out
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. Mystery Mine is what you're thinking of, and
Yeah,
it's a
that's what it's
really good
called.
ride. That's
Hmm.
another ride that theming really adds to.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if they get like a ground up RMC Woody, because
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
like they could fit it, but that would be right next to the Beast, and they probably
Hmm.
don't want to overshadow that. But if they got like an RMC Raptor that was right there, that
Yeah,
had
a
like the
large scale
extended 12
raptor for
rows,
them really would fit well. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, we all want to see the T Rex happen, but that's not going to be happening anytime soon. For what
yeah.
people have been saying and what I've heard, I don't think we're getting like a T Rex anytime soon. So
Speaking
yeah.
of that, when I talked to Alan Schulke and Fred Grubb at IAPA in 2018, it was the going into the 2019 season. They said that they made the concepts of the Raptor and the T Rex at the same time,
Hmm.
and whatever one caught on first, they were going to fully develop and then put the other one away for now. And what
Hmm.
happened is that the Raptor really caught on.
Yep.
And so what they're doing is that they're trying to milk the Raptor for all it's worth, get all as many
Yeah, I don't
like
blame them.
rides out as possible, and then maybe they'll revisit the
Hmm.
T-Rex. But for now, the T-Rex is shelved per se, because
Hmm.
even parks like Six Flags Great Adventure and apparently Six Flags Magic Mountain, one of the
Yeah.
busiest parks in the world,
Hmm.
they're getting Raptors where you'd expect them to get T-Rexes,
That's
but they're
true.
getting Raptors because like they're cheaper and
Right.
I mean,
You get there. You still get three trains too,
yeah,
and they
like
all they added really was a brake run, a mid
mhm.
course. I mean,
I
to
even
the
think
ride. So
that
yeah.
I even think Great Adventure is getting 4 trains for Jersey Devil
That's
because
what I've heard. Yeah.
yeah. So if you have 4 trains, each with 12 riders with a
Holy
continuous
moly.
loading station, that's like 48 people per cycle, which I don't even know what the throughput would be.
Yeah.
That's a very large throughput.
Yeah.
And if the rumors are true that Six Flags Magic Mountain is getting almost a Jersey Devil clone with an extended layout, like Six Flags Magic Mountain attracts so many people.
Oh,
every
yeah.
year. Like it's one of the busiest parks in the year.
I
If
was
they're
about to
adding a
say, like,
Raptor,
most people in Cali go to Six Flags Magic Mountain. Even people who
exactly.
aren't enthusiasts, like, will go there.
Yeah.
So,
Like that's where they film a lot of movies and stuff. So if even them are getting an RMC Raptor, there's not really a need for the T-Rex per se. And also it would be a lot more expensive. But I mean, the Raptor is really great for smaller parks, but it also can be big for big parks like Fiesta Texas. From what I've seen, there isn't really always a super long line for Wonder Woman because the dispatches are wonderful and it's continuous, and there's not really a long line, even though that park attracts so many people. So the Raptors work really, really well.
I hope they do more. I hope Six Flags starts getting more because I could see them cloning those just like the Batman clones, I guess. Not for being them like inverts, but the 40 free spins like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like some clone rides are kind of mad, but there are clone rides like Batman the Ride, like the B&M inverts that are great, and like I'm glad they're everywhere. So if they keep doing that with the RMC Raptors, that would be wonderful because they're great rides that pack in a punch, and they're meant for like they are what I've heard really, really cheap. And so like if you want like a small investment for a big punch, then RMC Raptors are basically the way to go. I think that more and more parks should be adding them because they're just amazing. Well, I was gonna ride one when I went to California this year.
Oh, really?
But all the California parks are closed.
They're closed
so
now, man.
Yeah. So I was gonna go to California and I was gonna hit California's Great America, Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, and Six Flags Magic Mountain.
Oh, nice.
But I'm postponing that to 2021, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Right.
Because none of the parks are open.
I was going to say, once everything gets back to so-called normal, and it still won't be normal then, but
exactly.
I'm kind of like, I really want to wait to go to Cedar Point now just because I want to stay there till nighttime. Like, I want to get night rides and everything. So it's just like I might wait. So
yeah, because the park closes at 7, and so like you're not, and like sunsets are usually at like 9.
Right.
10
I was just about to say like usually 8 is like the earliest sunset. So
yeah. So that's another thing. So I was trying to go there, and Knott's is only open for like food, and so that's not going to open anytime soon. And then I was supposed to go to Carowinds and Dollywood, but Carowinds is
they might
not going to open for a while. Yeah, they might not open this season, and so I'm not going to go there. And so I'm trying to formulate a Missouri trip now that consists of Silver Dollar City, Worlds of Fun, and Six Flags St. Louis, because I've never been to those parks and those look great.
Same.
And the thing that is kind of cool that I've been noticing at Cedar Point and Kings Island is that a lot of people are scared to go to parks nowadays because as cases continue, amusement parks are kind of high risk places. But that's kind of working in the favor of enthusiasts.
Yeah, I was just about to say for Hershey Park, when I went there, it was opening day and it was packed, but it wasn't like not even the line to get in wasn't long. And that's how I knew. I was just like, man, people are really like they're like, forget that. I'm not going to the amusement park and in Pennsylvania, they definitely were not doing social distancing. I hate to say it, but Hershey Park, y'all got to work on that one.
Oh my gosh, I've seen photos. Oh my gosh.
I had a great time, but it was just like, it was so hot and humid. People were just like, forget it. Some workers, I saw all the workers had masks on, which was great, but you could tell they were just like, man, I'm ready to get out this heat right now. So
another concerning thing is like watching videos on Indiana Beach's reopening, because Indiana Beach like opened maybe late June, and from the videos I've seen, only about maybe 5 or 10% of attendants were wearing a mask. Like attendees, like guests, and I mean all employees are supposed to, but like not a lot of guests were wearing them. And then even for the opening ceremonies, there was not a lot of social distancing occurring. I don't know how many.
And in line, oh my gosh, it was just like I had someone right behind me. I was just like, "What do you do?"
So some people are just like don't care, but like Indiana Beach was just like I've seen videos and it was an absolute mess. Another thing, like people are just scared to go, and even if they do go, then they don't follow it. Which
exactly.
Kind of messy. But what Worlds of Fun did is that they opened up, and they were like, "Okay, we're going to require reservations," and then no one came. And so they're like, okay, we're no longer requiring reservations.
Wow.
And then still no one came.
Oh
And they're
my
like,
gosh.
okay, we're going to be closed Monday through
Yep.
Wednesday. So Worlds of Fun is only open Thursday through Sunday each week because not a lot of
Wow.
people are going and they don't want to lose money. And so
Hmm.
Six Flags St. Louis did the same thing where they're closed Monday and Tuesday because not a lot of people are going.
And Michigan's Adventure is not opening at all. It's just the water park,
It's just the
guys, just
water
to let
park.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break really quick. I'm going to do a little ad break for you guys. And after that, we'll come right back. Okay, guys, we are back. And as you saw, we just had to take a little quick break. We got some water really quick. We were talking about Michigan's Adventure and whatnot, how they're not going to be opening. It's just the water park. Now, I want to switch up just a little bit, but what were your like anticipated coasters for this year? Like, what did you have? I guess what were you most excited for?
Sure, sure. So I was gonna go to California, and I'd say on that trip it would have been Twisted Colossus,
Oh, okay.
X2, Railblazer, Ghost Rider, and then Rise of the Resistance
Oh,
at
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Disneyland. Because I've been to the Galaxy's Edge in Florida before Rise of Resistance opened, and so I really want to get to Rise of Resistance because it looks incredible.
Yeah.
But I've never been west of Oklahoma, so I've never ridden
Oh,
any
okay.
coasters out there, and X2
Same.
looks absolutely
Yep.
insane.
That's what everyone
Like
says.
that
Like
thing looks
Tatsu and
bonkers.
X2, man.
Yeah,
Those
and
two.
Twisted Colossus looks like a fantastic RMC. Like
Yeah.
it's the only one of its kind where like there's two lift hills
Two, yeah.
and like it's basically two
Super
rides in
long.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Railblazer, like I said about RMC Raptors, they look amazing
Hmm.
and they're so quick and whippy,
Yeah.
and those look awesome. And Ghost Rider, after it got its treatment,
Hmm.
it's people say it's like one of the best wooden coasters in the world.
Oh,
So
yeah. That's
yeah,
what a lot of people. I heard. I think there's only like one person that was like they didn't like it too much, but most for the most part, everyone likes it. So yeah.
yeah, GCI is just killing it these days.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they're just
And
doing
they're
so much.
supposed to. Well, I don't know when we're gonna see that like conversion, but they do have steel track now. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens on that.
Yeah. When I talked to the guys, I spoke to the guys at GCI for maybe like half
Hmm.
an hour at
Oh,
IAPA,
nice.
and they said that that concept with inversions that they like the big model, they said
Hmm.
it could be ready by the year 2020, and it's 2020 now. So I mean
uh,
that thing is ready to go
yeah.
if it's like what they said.
Whoever got it, someone probably bought it now, and I
Yeah,
imagine by
probably someplace in
2025, I
China.
feel like we're gonna definitely see at least one
Yeah,
like steel version. So,
yeah. I think what they said is that that steel track that they're going to use for like barrel rolls and
hmm,
stuff,
I
and
could see
then
that for sure.
so like the barrel rolls and the inversions are going to have steel supports and steel track, and then the rest is going to be like a regular one.
Oh,
But
so
like,
like it's almost like how Son of Beast was, where it was
yeah,
like the
yeah,
loop. That's so cool.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
they're killing it. So is Gravity Group. Like
Yeah,
Gravity Group is such an underrated manufacturer because
they did
most
Sesame Place, right? Or not
yeah
Sesame,
they've done
Oscar's
Oscar's
Wacky
Wacky
Taxi. Yeah.
yeah they're
Hmm.
known for the Voyage especially.
Yep.
That's like the one that they're known for. But I've done Voyage, Hades 360 at Mount Olympus,
Oh, lucky you.
and
How
they're
was
all
Hades 360?
dude, don't even get me started on Hades 360. That ride slaps. Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
You are going to be very surprised on where I place Hades 360.
Where's
I
it?
love
Where's
that
it?
ride, I think, a little bit too much. It is my number 10 coaster. It's above Millennium Force and below Voyage. So
Man.
my top 10 is Steel Vengeance, Fury 325, Lightning Rod, Intimidator 305, El Toro, Maverick, Twisted Timber, Storm Chaser, The Voyage, and then Hades 360.
Oh wow.
Hades 360 is like that good because
Man.
I rode it right after some retracking, and
Oh
that
yeah,
thing is
yeah,
just relentless from start to finish
yeah.
because
Hmm.
you drop right into that tunnel, and that tunnel is super long,
Right, yeah.
and like you're hitting like off-axis airtime hills and bank
Hmm.
turns and all that stuff, and then right when you come out of it and you're being blinded by the light, you come out of
Right.
this corkscrew, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm upside down now, and that thing is like nonstop. It's
Yeah.
like element after element, and then you go back into the tunnel doing more of those crazy
Hmm.
things. And then you come out and you do a few turns, and that's the brakes. But one of the
Man.
cool things besides the tunnel is that this has the best pre-lift section of all time. Like when you drop
Yeah.
out of the station, that pop in the back is incredible. And there's a moment of ejector right before the lift hill that is absolutely stellar. That just
Hmm.
makes the ride like that much better. And it's in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. So like
Right.
not a
I
lot of
was gonna
people
say
get
how long was the drive? Or did
7
you have to
hours.
fly?
Yeah, 7 hour
7
drive.
hours.
Yeah, me and
It's
my friend
like
did
I think it's like 12 for me in Virginia.
yeah, me and my friend did like a Wisconsin Dells trip. Like we live near Detroit, and so we had
Oh,
to like
okay.
go under like the lake through Indiana, up through
Wow.
Illinois, and into Wisconsin.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
but it
have to
was a
fly for
blast.
that one.
Yeah, not a lot of people go to Mount
Hmm.
Olympus, and it's a
And
weird.
they
It's a
opened really early
yeah,
actually
they
this year.
opened
Like,
like late May or something
hmm,
like that. It's a weird ass park, I'll say that. But Hades 360 is just worth the trip alone.
Yeah.
Speaking of like rides that have really good pre-lift or pre-launch sections,
Hmm.
another one of my anticipated coasters for my hopeful Missouri trip is
Yeah.
Time Traveler at
Oh
Silver Dollar
yeah.
City, because
Everyone
that thing
says
looks
that's just so
bonkers.
good.
Yeah, because like it's a 90-degree drop, like a
Hmm.
100-foot drop out of the station. Like that looks incredible. Like
Yeah, they
imagine,
spent 26 million on that one,
yeah, that
so
thing was expensive because they had
hmm
to ship all the track from Germany
and they
because
put theming.
yeah, because there's no Mac plant here because B&M has a
Right.
plant in Ohio, so they don't have
Yeah.
to ship that from wherever B&M. I think they're based in Switzerland or Germany or something. But
Hmm.
Mac does everything in Germany, so they have to ship these multi-ton pieces of track
Hmm.
here, which just costs so much money. But they,
That
like
was
that's why
one of the
Copperhead was
same
so
things for
expensive.
like Intamin. Some like for Volcano, really like when they had to get the parts, it was like, yo, this has to come from overseas because they can't
Yeah,
get the custom part anymore.
yeah, yeah. Also, not Time Traveler, uh, Outlaw Run looks really
Oh,
really
okay,
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Silver
that's
Dollar City has a solid top three actually.
oh my gosh,
How did
yeah.
I think
So,
about it, man?
yeah, I also love Dollywood more like so much, and
Hmm.
they're owned by the same company. So if
Yep.
it's any similar to Dollywood, then
Hmm.
I mean, Silver Dollar City is going to be great.
What
Um,
would you say is your top three parks, I guess, that you've
oh,
been to?
okay. So top one, Cedar Point. I'm
Okay.
terribly biased. I'm going to admit that. Cedar Point all the way. I don't know if that's ever going to change. I'm going to put Dollywood at number two
Oh wow.
because I loved the atmosphere of Dollywood, and I thought that it was an absolutely like their coaster collection is also
Hmm.
phenomenal. I'm trying to find my notes, and like Lightning Rod itself is worth the trip, but then you have coasters like Wild Eagle and
Hmm.
Mystery Mine and Fire Chaser Express and Thunderhead, and
Yep.
all these wonderful rides that just make it more like like so incredible. And then the theming is nice, the employees are great, the
Yeah.
cinnamon bread is
I was just
incredible.
about to say the cinnamon bread. That was
Yeah. I've
that.
made the cinnamon bread like 5 times homemade. My number three is a little surprising with it being Busch Gardens Tampa.
Oh
I
wow.
loved Busch Gardens Tampa. Like the atmosphere was fantastic. The food
Hmm.
wasn't bad. Plus the coaster collection that they have is absolutely phenomenal, especially with Iron Gwazi coming
Yeah.
hopefully this year. We don't know with all the SeaWorld leans and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, even then, Montu and Kumba are worth the trip
Hmm.
enough. Like I have Montu ranked ridiculously high at number 12.
Oh
Like,
wow.
yeah, Montu is
Man.
incredible. So I think all of them are open, but I haven't been to Dollywood since 2018. I haven't been to Busch Gardens since 2018. And hopefully I'll be able to go to IAPA again this year.
Yeah.
And I'll go
I
to
don't know.
Montu.
They might cancel it, man.
Yeah, because Florida's getting like
Yeah. Yeah, and they're
15,000 new
wild
cases.
right
Yeah,
now.
they're not doing well.
Uh,
Speaking of coronavirus stuff, I do have to commemorate Cedar Point and Kings Island on their
oh,
incredible
okay.
job of handling it because they have hand sanitizer stations everywhere. Everyone is wearing masks, and if
Hmm.
they aren't wearing a mask, then they get called out for it. Like I was having a drink of water,
Oh,
and
they
I forgot
actually
to
call people out for it. Wow.
I forgot to put my mask up for like maybe like 20 seconds, and they were like, "Don't forget to put your mask up, sir." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry." And so there's constant reminders. People are actually following social distancing to
That's
like
good.
the right amount. I feel like there's markers on the queue, and like I usually
Well, the
stand here, and
line
people
for Orion,
yeah,
because of
the
that.
line for okay, the line for Orion at the beginning was not good, but once it got
Yeah.
like past like the beginning
Yeah,
part of
when
it,
they
then it
start
was
doing the
really good.
boarding passes and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's hand sanitizer stations everywhere, and they're
Hmm.
sanitizing rides every 15 minutes. So I have to give
That's
props to
good.
Cedar Point and Kings Island for their amazing job. But some other parks are just
Yeah, I
man.
was about to
But
say just SeaWorld as a whole. I'm pretty sure if Busch Gardens was to open, like just from seeing what Tampa was doing, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous what the
Yeah.
governor of Virginia said. Like
Yeah,
parks can
they're
open, but only with 1,000 people.
yes, and we
Like
could fit 20,000 people in the park.
the
Like
parks can't operate unless there's 5,000 people in the park. Like that just can't
losing
happen.
money.
Yeah, they'd be losing a ton of money if they opened, and that just wouldn't be feasible at
Yeah.
all.
I
Yeah,
know they're pretty upset right now, and like we don't even know if we're gonna go to phase four because everything's spiking in basically every state right now. So it's just like, and North Carolina, it's almost the same thing because they're
yeah,
in phase two still, all the way to August now. So
yeah. That's crazy.
I don't know. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens in this
yeah,
next few moments because they haven't even teased obviously for the 2021 coaster at Kings Dominion or anything.
yeah. And there's track literally
Yeah,
sitting in the parking lot. Yeah,
exactly. And they're just
and they have
keeping it
to
hush
open,
right now, but they
and
can
Busch
never
Gardens
keep
has
it
to open
hush.
Pantheon. Like Pantheon's just sitting there, and Then they're rumored to get the big new Giga Coaster in 2021.
Yeah,
Rapid
that's not
Fire or whatever it is.
happening.
But like that's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. It's SeaWorld. What's kind of crazy? It's like SeaWorld was about to have probably their best year, and it turned out to be probably one of the worst
Their
years
worst
now.
year. Yeah.
Because they not only did they just lose money for huge investments, basically every park. Because every park I think was getting a coaster. You got Icebreaker, Emperor.
Every single park was getting a coaster. Because San Diego, Emperor, Icebreaker, SeaWorld, Orlando, San Antonio thankfully opened.
Yeah, that one, Texas Stingray.
That one opened.
Yeah.
Busch Gardens Tampa with Iron Gwazi, and then Busch Gardens Williamsburg with Pantheon. Every single one was getting like a $20 million ride.
Yeah.
Like, you know how much Intamins and B&Ms cost?
I know.
Like,
I was about to say,
my
like,
gosh.
Intamin, they don't ever, like, that was, like, the first time Intamin finally came back to the States. It's like, and then this
they're
happens.
like, nope. Yeah. And apparently, like, they owe RMC, like, $3 million or something for Iron Gwazi, and that thing's not going to open anytime soon.
It was, and they had the test rides. They were like, we're going to get this open before spring break. And spring break was like, right.
It's funny because there was, like, right when they closed for coronavirus, there was actually billboards already out on the highways down there that said Iron Gwazi now open. But they closed it, so they couldn't do that.
Yep, and they had to like cancel the ad thing. They have one up here still in Virginia right now. It says Pantheon opening like this summer.
Oh man, that sucks.
It's like right by Kings Main too. It's so messed up, but
I'm just glad like Kings Island got to open Orion because that's like $30 million. But Cedar Point delayed everything until next year, and a lot of Six Flags parks are doing that too.
I would say even though Pennsylvania's like not really following the stuff for like the social distancing, I am glad that they got Candemonium open because it's a solid coaster. It's definitely the best B&M hyper that I've ridden. I can definitely say that now. And I've ridden a lot of them. I've ridden the ones that everyone loves, and I don't really like the ones that everyone loves. Like Nitro, I'm not really a fan of that one. I've ridden Intimidator, Carowinds, Apollo's Chariot. Everyone loves Apollo's. Yeah. But seriously, it's a great ride. There's only 2 trims on it, and when they're not active, it makes the ride 3 times better. This is awesome. So
yeah, it looks awesome. I went to Hershey Park last year, and all I've seen of Candemonium is a brake run.
Yeah,
so I'm probably not gonna get that for a while, but it looks really, really cool. Yeah. And then I did Knoebels and Dorney last year. Oh my gosh, I apologize, Cedar Fair. But you got to work on Dorney, man. Oh my gosh, you got to work on Dorney. That park needs some help. Like, oh dear, I wanted to write Demon Drop, but it was closed the entire day, and they only told us that after waiting outside the entrance for like 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
But like Cedar Fair, I love you. I'm going to college with you. Like you are
right?
Doing my
Yeah,
degree,
I saw that.
But you got to work on Dorney.
What are 3 parks that you want to see Cedar Fair put or invest in, I guess?
Great question. Ooh, okay. Number 1, Michigan's Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love that park more than I should. That park has some excellent charm. But if they slap, there's tons of land there.
Yeah.
So if they slap an RMC Raptor there, it would bring in a ton more people, and it would be they would actually have like, okay, Shivering Timbers is like an elite wooden coaster.
That's what everyone says, yeah.
Nobody knows it because it's so out of the way, but Shivering Timbers is fantastic. But if they put like an RMC Raptor there or something cheap but good, that'll make it so much better. They only need like little things here and there. Because
I was just thinking, not to cut you off, but
no, you're fine.
The ride Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom, if they gave them one of those, I think that would really help their park.
The thing about Lightning Run is that it cost the park $13 million, where usually it should cost like $20 million. But Chance Rides gave Kentucky Kingdom a good deal on it.
Yeah.
So the ride is actually more expensive than most people think. Although it is a great ride, it's more expensive than people think. But like that's why it's not a lot because they're like $20 million.
After then.
Other than Michigan's Adventure, Dorney Park, I'd say definitely just around overall guest experience. But they're getting the new shuttle coaster next year, hopefully. But then they remove Stinger, so like they're removing more rides than they're adding. But they just have to work on like general park atmosphere and like ride layout. Like Demon Drop was closed the entire day, and they didn't have like this ride is going to be closed today sign. And I don't know, it just seemed like the park was just lacking like a few things here and there that could have made it a lot better. And then for the third one, I'm gonna have to say either Worlds of Fun or Valley Fair. But not a lot of people go to Valley Fair, but Worlds of Fun pulls in a great population.
I was going to say,
Kansas City, and like they haven't gone on a roller coaster since 2009.
Yeah, and apparently people were saying that they were supposed to get like a coaster next year or something. Like I kept hearing a rumor like they are supposed to get a coaster soon. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. My degree program that I'm doing at BG, like it's called the Resort and Attraction Management
Mhm.
program. And so like I'm gonna learn how to like learn how to manage my own amusement park and stuff like that.
That's so
So if
cool.
I get stationed at any of those parks, I'm gonna be like, okay, here's what we gotta do. This is how we do it. Let's do it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good, I would say that's really, yeah. Worlds of Fun. I love that like blimp thing or the air balloon. I think that's so cool for the entrance.
Yeah.
That looks super cool.
Yeah, for sure.
My top three, I'd say one, King's Million for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's so much they can do with the park. The park has major potential. It's 400
Yeah.
acres. Honestly, I would love to see a large scale raptor, or even like just like we said before, like a Mac. Just a larger
Yeah.
scale, more intense version of like Copperhead Strike would really
Yeah,
be
for
nice.
sure.
Really, they need a new entrance. I
Uh-huh.
personally
Yeah.
don't like the older entrants like Kings Island and Kings
Yeah.
Million. I like the newer entrants like Cedar Point and
Yeah.
Carowinds.
Kings Island
Um,
restaurant is literally like Kings Island entrance is literally a restaurant. Like they have like the top floor of the entrance is a private event space.
oh my gosh.
So like that's literally it's like a big box and
Yeah,
there's just
it's
like a
just
restaurant on top
weird.
of it.
Like it's just
Yeah.
weird. The next one I definitely would say is Worlds of Fun 2.
Mhm.
And I think I'm gonna go with Dorney also because really the West Coast parks are good. Valley
Yeah.
Fair, I feel like they really should just let them just go from the chain. Like
Yeah.
honestly, at this point,
Yeah.
it's just like one of those parks that's just there. But yeah,
Yeah.
Worlds of Fun, Dorney Park, and Kings Million for mine.
Yeah. That's a good choice. Fully
All right.
valid.
Well,
Yeah.
where can they find you at on all your social media and everything,
Yes.
man?
Okay.
What do you?
So I'm mainly based on Instagram at MrAmusement Media. Please go follow me there. I'm
Mhm.
also on YouTube, but I'm not really active there. I only have like 300 subscribers. I don't do much there, but if you want to see my Orion review, my full thoughts, head over to YouTube and search Mystery Amusement, and I should be the logo with this. Also, I'm
Mhm.
on Facebook and I'm on Snapchat, but I don't usually use Snapchat. But my
Same.
main thing is Instagram. So if you want to go check me out at Mr. Amusement Media, should be the first thing to pop up. You'll know you're there. So please go check me out. It'll mean the world to me. Yeah.
You have any merch or no?
Yeah, there's a merch store on my website. Oh
Okay.
yeah, my website www.mrmusementmedia.com.
Okay.
That you can see
Cool.
my blogs. There's photos coming soon, and my merch store is linked there. So if you want to check out more of what we do, definitely go to my website, what I just said. So
All right.
www.mrmusementmedia.com. And then my Instagram at Mr. Amusement Media. That
He's
should be
gonna
it.
say it 5 times, just like the commercial guys.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Matt, for being on. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure to have you on,
Yeah.
man.
Thanks for having me.
I
This was
can't
so much
wait to
fun.
see you. I don't know where I'll see you at. Maybe Cedar
Yeah.
Point, maybe Busch Gardens. I don't
Yeah.
know.
If you're in town, let me know. I'll be back at Busch Gardens in 21. So just let me know and we can definitely do something. Yeah.
All right. Well, give this video a thumbs up, guys. It really helps the algorithm, and it also helps me know that you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to join the O Squad. Enable push notifications to stay up to date with everything that is happening on the channel. Until next time, you guys. Peace out.